Where do you think the best spot to get
What's that?
trash bags?
Probably Walmart. Yeah. You need cash, you got money, or just send me a couple bucks. Okay. Alright. I love you, buddy.
Alright, I love you too.
Alright. So won't you come all you weary and you burden. You better lay down. That thing started. Okay, well, hey, hey everybody. This thing keeps starting. It's really windy out here today. So I was out in the yard doing yard work. I have my glasses someplace. And I was out there. It's windy today, but I was trying to get some of the palmettos cleared out over next door. Because if you guys want to, if there's one or two you want to come by, do like a 3-day Bible study with me, I'll let you camp in the woods over here and feed you. So we can do a 3-day Bible study. You can come camp here and get fed, have campfires at night and stuff. It'd be kind of fun. So yeah, it's an invitation to my friends. Make sure you clear it with us first, But I think that's something we're going to start doing. Anyways, hey, like I said, it's really windy today. I got my Arnold Palmer here. The other day I talked to you guys about worship and praise music and stuff like that. Well, before I come and do a Bible study with y'all, I have hearing aids that have Bluetooth on them. So what I usually do is I put a few songs in there and I sing so my little heart's content and try to get the Spirit of the Lord going and make a joyous noise unto the Lord. So it doesn't matter if you sound good or not. He knows what you're doing. Today's verse is James 3, 7, and 8. James 3, 7, and 8. And I know I wrote it down, on this little clip right here, notebook. But unfortunately, like I said, it's really windy, so I got stuff all covered up and battened down. I have it battened down today. So anyways, so that's going to be the verse that we're going to talk about. But the reason we're going to talk about, we can just get into reading it if you want to, but mostly I was going to tell you about how important it was to me. I don't know if you guys can hear those birds, but they're kind of going nuts up there, little tiny birds. We have cardinals that come and live here every year. And around winter time, they start to get active again, and they, during windstorms, they just kind of go nuts. If you can't hear it, it's a real high-pitched squeaky noise. Okay, well, it's probably the wind and everything else is distracting, and you're not even going to be able to hear this video. So that's the devil at play right there. And maybe a lack of common sense. I should have gone inside. But I wanted to get to this. I was excited about it. Because James, he's the half-brother of Jesus, right? Because Jesus' father was God, and then Mary and Joseph had a couple more kids. James and Jude is another one. But so James, he's an epistle, and he has his book in the Bible. And one of the things he talks about is the tongue. So one of the biggest problems I had was the tongue. So learning to soften your tongue. But we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that because people have it like really kind of twisted up. At least for the last 30 years they've had it twisted up. That the tongue was evil. And yeah, it's a dangerous weapon for sure. So let's read what James has to say about it. James chapter 3, verses 7 and 8. For every kind of beasts and birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue no man can tame. It is an unruly evil full of deadly poison. So, now y'all know I had a problem with my potty mouth for a long time, and I didn't think it was such a big deal, but I know it lets off a tone of ignorance partially, and plus I want you to be able to take me seriously when I'm talking about the Lord. And I had maybe been hit in the head or something that it had helped cause that mild Tourette's, but I've been praying a lot about that. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. That's one of my struggles. But I think more so, James is also be careful, not to curse things. So now let's talk about actually cursing things. Jesus cursed that fig tree and said it would never ever produce fruit again, right? Paraphrasing, but you guys know what he said. He was hungry and the thing didn't have any fruit, and he said, from now on you'll never produce fruit. He cursed that tree. And so when they're talking about curses, you shouldn't, when you say that, GD word, when you're damning something, you're damning it. That's a curse. You're putting a curse on it. If you say an expletive like you smashed your finger, probably not the best thing either to go screaming that out, a word. But at the same time, if you screamed out maybe a swear word like an F word or something else, flibberty gibbet, whatever you said, it was an expletive in the moment. Yeah, I've learned to say praise Jesus or something like that. It's kind of interesting, but you're not really cursing the thumb or cursing the hammer. You're yelling at it. You're screaming in pain most of the time. So, but when you are cursing and you're angry like that other driver on the freeway, you got to watch what you say with your mouth. But also, he says the tongue like that, right? But it also shows the power of the tongue, right? That's cool. Like, there's a dude in the Bible that's like one of my newfound favorites. A little character, side character here. His name's Apollos. He's a Jew, but he lives in Alexandria. There's just a lot of things weird about this story. The fact that he's a Jew living in Egypt and his name is Apollos. I'm pretty sure that's like a Greek name. He's a weird sounding dude. I mean, the Bible's full of weird stuff. I mean, there's a talking donkey in there, for gosh sake. So anyways, even the donkey's tongue was pretty powerful in that instance. But so Apollos, he's this dude that he went out there and he was adamantly proclaiming that Jesus was the Son of God. He was the Messiah, and it had to go through some more or less approval stages, I guess. There's like a whole story behind it, but the bottom line is, and I think the most important thing when he was declared, first of all, for him to end up in the Bible is just amazing, right? So he must have been doing something pretty powerful, but he was using his tongue to argue with the Jews and the Jewish rabbis there about Jesus in fact being the Son of God and the Messiah, and he was coming over in those debates, winning over people. And I think the amazing part about it is he was just a regular guy for the most part, and he had some stuff working against him, just being a Jew with a Greek name and living in Alexandria. View from there, that's kind of a weird deal back in the time. That's like being I would say, here's something kind of weird, like being a southerner in New York City, and your name is something northern. I don't know, John Smith. I don't know whatever a northern name is. Jan Keys. Anyways, I guess Jan and Key. So if your name was Jan and Key and you were from the South, there you go. Anyways, okay, let's get back to this though. This guy named Apollos, and he's able to argue with his tongue, right? So the tongue is kind of an important deal, so we don't want to use it in the wrong way. And for a long time now, for at least 2 years, I've been working on that, because I had a prominent problem with that, and probably still, if it came down to it, if I was up against the wall, I would have to pray really hard that I didn't lose that. because I've worked really hard on thinking of alternate ways to express myself and not immediately reacting to situations. Because the tongue can be a powerful thing. We know that because there are people out there saying things that we know aren't true, but because they're saying them, they're speaking them into life. All right? There's nothing changed about the Bible. It's still the Bible. It's the same one that they were preaching when you didn't like it. It was the same one that was preaching about hell and God and salvation and redemption and grace. It's that Bible. There isn't any new Bible. There's been nothing new added to it. The devil's still real. He's still out there and still trying to get you. And I'm going to tell you this right before we quit for the day. The harder you try, the more the devil will attack you. All right, you got to release that and let it go. Let it go to God. Let God have it, and the devil won't be able to get you. Be guarded, though. There's another verse about being guarded, and we'll cover that coming up. But it's about wearing the full armor of God, and it's important. I got to get back out there. There's some palmettos I'm going to clear out. I'm serious about the camping pad. All right, well, I got a tent. That's what I got. So remember, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself.